What is going on, guys? Lander back with another video. Today we're going to be going over the level 2 and how it helps you as a trader, right? I see a lot of people don't really know how to utilize level 2 to the best, and it might be confusing at first. There's just a bunch of numbers, it's random, right? You might not have any clue on what exactly is going on. So today I'm going to go over all that with you right now. So this is the level 2 on interactive brokers. Yours might be a little bit different if you're not on interactive. But this is interactive. I'll post another video if you guys want on how to actually set this up. Today I'm going to go over just what the level 2 is and how it can help you as a trader and how to find those momentum breaks, right? So for example, if you guys seen my Moderna video on how we caught that, I think it was like a 250 break or something like that, or 245 break when it shot right down as soon as we got in. That is a correlation of finding the strong levels, finding that strong support, finding that level on, the 1 hour, the daily chart, and then supporting it with the level 2 to determine how strong that support level is, to determine how fast we can come down, right? To determine the momentum, right? We want to look for that momentum when we're trading. If you're not using a level 2, I would definitely suggest it because it can help you as a trader for sure. So here is a level 2 for Tesla, right? Let's go to Tesla. Let's move this over a little bit more so you guys can see this. Here's Tesla. We traded Tesla today. We made about 40% on that. We took it around right here. Scaled it all the way up to around here. This was our last out on that consolidation. Majority out on that break of 1095, which was super nice. So now, how exactly do we utilize this, right? If I was going to play this again, I would play it above 1100. Number one, that's a nice psychological level, right? So let's make this... Let's just add a level here for 1100, right? So we go back, and let's say we're looking at 1100. We're gonna go to this 1 hour. Just gonna wait for it to load. 1100. Let's just say, let's actually just close out all these other drawings so it's not confusing whatsoever. 1100. Let's say we're gonna take it above 1100. We determined this is a great level, right? Nice psychological level. Now, just because it's a psychological level does not mean that there's going to be momentum at that certain point. That just means that it's a psychological level. If no one's looking at a nice level, right, you can have the best setup in the world, but if no one's looking at it, then it's not going to move, right? In order for stuff to move, right, in order for us to see momentum, there needs to be people watching this. And that's why sometimes psychological levels don't work, even after it's been repeated. Which is why I suggest you guys also look at a level 2 so you guys know what's going on as well. And you also need to look at the volume to make sure that people are actually watching this. So here's 1100. We determined that this is a great level, right? So now, in order to actually play this, we want to see how strong this 1100 range is. We already supported this as a nice level. This is the highest candle closure for yesterday as well. Super nice. 1100 is a great level here. And now we want to look at the level 2. Now, what exactly is the level 2 displaying for us? Let's go back over here. Here you see the bid, and here you see the ask, right? We're playing it to the upside, so 1100 is not going to be on the bid, right? People aren't going to buy this at 1100 right now when it's at 1091, right? You don't want to buy it at a higher price, and this is why it's the bid. The ask is going to be sellers, right? People are willing to sell it at whatever price. For example, 1091.02, 1091.01, right here. This is the price that people are trying to sell it at. This is the price that people are trying to buy it at. This right here, the time and sales right here, this is what people are actually executing at. This is the orders that are getting executed right now. These are the orders that are waiting to be executed, right? So this, I'm going to go over in another video, but this is people trying to buy, right? Bid is buy. People are trying to buy at this price. Ask right here. People are trying to sell at this price. This is not orders executed. This is orders waiting to be executed. This is orders that are already being executed. I'm going to go over this in another video so it doesn't confuse you guys whatsoever on the level 2. This right here, buying. They're trying to buy it at these prices. Ask, these are people trying to sell at these prices. Now, with that knowledge, right, we look at the size, right? 100 shares. It's usually like, it might be 130 shares, might be 120 shares, but right now it's 100 shares, right? So 100 shares times that by 1091, we get around $109,000 right there, right? Nothing crazy. I look for breaks over, I would say, it depends, probably usually around $1 million depending on the stock, right? For example, a wall, 21,000 shares at 1,100. So what is 21,500 times 1,100? That gets you $23 million. You guys can clearly see a difference here. $100,000 right here or $23 million, right? Keep that in mind. There is $23 million at this level here at 1,100. Now, going back to the example, right? You guys are probably confused on what this was. This is a dam, right? Let's say, for example, the dam is, well, this was from a previous example, but let's say the dam is 21,000 shares, 21,500, right? This is $23 million, right here. This is $23 million at this dam. In order to break this dam, we need enough buying pressure to actually break it, right? You're not going to break it with only $100,000, right? And this is where momentum comes from. You're not going to be able to break it with $100,000. In order to break our wall, and it might be confusing at first, but in order to break the wall right here, this dam, you're going to need some sort of force in order to break it, right? This is why, as scalp traders, as momentum traders, we look for these breaks. We look for these momentum breaks. Because if we see a dam break, right? For example, if we see there's a huge wall here, let's say this dam is like the Hoover Dam. This is the biggest dam ever. And it's $23 million sitting there, right? That wall is going to be super strong. Now, if that wall breaks, right? Let's say this is 1,100, right? If this wall breaks, what do you think is going to happen, right? If we can get enough buyers to take over this $23 million and break past this wall, where do you think we're going? Do you think we're going to go to 1101? You think we're going to go to 11, like, you think we're going to stay the same? No, this is where we get the breaks. We wait for the close above. Now, for example, right? Let's go to 1080. Let's just go to 1084, right? For example, actually 1090. Let's go to 1090 right here. Now, it is later in the day, so momentum is going to be slowed down, right? But that doesn't mean we can't catch any plays. We saw that 1090 had a nice level here. It was about probably half of that. It was about 15,000 or something like that, 11,000. So let's just divide this by 2. Let's say there's about $10 million at this dam right here, right? In order to break this, and this is why I rejected right there, in order to break it, you need buying pressure, right? This is why this is not gambling, right? Because we're looking for that momentum. We're looking for that scalp, right? We're looking for that buying pressure. We know in order to break this level, this will gauge on how many buyers are actually looking at this, right? So if we break this level of 1090, this is why I rejected there, because this is a nice level at 1090 when it was. When it broke, that means that Hoover Dam actually broke. That means this dam broke. If it went above 1090, that means that dam broke. And now we're waiting for a close. For example, right? And I'm getting more into, just a scalp trade. But for example, if we had a level here at 1089, it wicked, right? We look for the candle closure. And that's exactly what happened here. We need to know that this is actual buying pressure and people are still buying this, right? We want to see that the bid is actually holding and people are buying above 1090 once it breaks, right? So now, knowing that, see how it closed above 1090? This is where we entered, right? We entered here and got our full position here. Super nice play, right? 1090 had a huge level. This will give us a more accurate play, right? This will give us, this is a probability game, right? It's not going to be 100% certain, but if we could identify the momentum and identify that the dam broke, where do you think the water is going to go, right? The dam broke right here when it closed above 1090. Now, you guys might not be familiar on how the dam works, but if a dam breaks, right, where do you think all this water is going to go? It's going to flood, right? It's just going to go. And that's exactly what happened. Now, if we tilt this, right, let's see if I can tilt this. Actually, I don't think so. No, I can't tilt this. But let's say it was tilted. Actually, maybe. Hold on 1 second. Let's tilt. No, I can't tilt this. All right, let's pretend like this is tilted. Like, just tilt your head or something. Let's say this was going up, right? And let's say, for example, here is the wall. And this is, I'm trying to do it. Actually, I'll just do it this way. Here's the dam, right? Here is the dam on 1090. Right? Here's the dam. We're going over here. We're rejecting. Number one, this is a nice level, right? 1090 was already proven to be a nice level, so we're probably going to get a rejection, as it's that common resistance. And then on top of that, let's say we have $20 million at that level. Nice level, as well as $20 million sitting right there trying to be sold. In order to break that, we're going to need some sort of buying pressure. We're going to need $20 million plus at this level, right? Now, if we break it, that means the dam broke and the water's going to flood, right? The water's just going to bring it to the upside. Same thing. That's exactly what happened here, right? 1090 went all the way to 1092. Not a crazy move there, but that means that buying pressure is increasing, starting to pick up. And this is why we waited a little bit. We waited for it to close under 1090. We've been out. Obviously, we're scaling out as we wanted cash flow for the business, right? We want to make sure that we are taking some profits because it's not profits until you lock it in. Took some profits here, up about 20%, held it a little bit longer, waited for it to close above here again. So we were waiting for that 1091.55 close above there. That's how we knew we were back in business. Went all the way up to around 1095. When it started rejecting that 1095 on this candle, I started getting out more. And then when it closed under here, we were fully out, which was a nice play. Now, if we were going to play 1100, we'd wait for it to close 1100 because as $23 million at that level. People trying to anticipate these moves. You can anticipate moves, but you have to be super careful and know what you're looking at. I would suggest you wait for a candle closure above 1100. That's exactly what happened at 1090. So we knew that the dam actually broke. Now, if you're playing it to the downside, let's just go Moderna. Now we're looking at the bid, right? We're waiting for the bid to break. Now let's find something going on here. So let's say, for example, for example, 1100 right here at 470, 247, 2000 at 242. Now you get deeper, right? Look at this, 235, 6,500 shares. That doesn't mean we're going to wait for 235. That just means that's a nice stronger level. And the possibility of a bounce right there is pretty high. But if it does break that, that's how we know that sellers are in control there and is going to bring it down. And this is exactly how we call it Moderna in the past. This is exactly how we confirm our scalp trades, right? We want to find the level first. And then once we have the level, we want to look on the level 2 on how strong that level actually is. Let's say, for example, 245. Let's see what levels we got going on. All right, let's say 240 right here, right? So there's 240. You guys can clearly see 3,400 shares. So 3,400 times that by 240 gets us about $816,000 right there. Not bad at all. 237, there's 5,400. So 237 times that is $1.3 million, right? So now what I would personally do is if I checked out the levels, right, and I saw that 240 was a nice level, just because it's on level 2 doesn't mean it's going to be a nice level. We got to make sure that it also looks good on, the hourly, whatever you guys look at to make your levels. I would probably put a price target around 237 just because I know that there's a bigger bid there and there's more support there according to the level 2. Now, I would have to check the hourly to make sure that cuts out. But looking at the level 2, that 237, 235 range is going to have that most support. So we can definitely see a bounce there. We would take it under 240, for example, and then play it around 237 and make sure that we're taking profits around there. That doesn't mean it's not going to continue to keep going down. That just means we're prepared, right? And we're scaling at that level just because there's a potential for a bounce there. We want to make sure that there is actually selling pressure there in order for it to come down. But this is our overall price target on Moderna if we were going to play it to the downside. 242 also has a nice level, nothing crazy, only 2,000 shares. at 242, which is around 500,000, which is nothing. That doesn't mean you can't play it. That just means that there is stronger levels below that, so that doesn't mean that sellers are really in that area, but that is a small dam, for example. So if we were going to play this 240, 3,400 shares, we see at this nice level. You can see 100, 100, 100, 100, 500, 1,100 at around that 247 area, 2,000, 242. You see that 239, 238, 237 right here, 5,400 shares, right? So we will take it under that 240, right? 240 has 3,400 shares. We know that in order for that to break, we're going to need some selling pressure, because dams don't break on their own. It needs enough water in order to break it, right? Now, in today's day, there ain't really going to be dams that's going to break from some water. But for this example, we need enough water pressure. We need that selling pressure in order to break that dam. And that's exactly how we play these momentum breaks. And this is exactly how to utilize the level 2. Bid. Buyers are trying to buy here. Ask. Sellers are trying to sell here. The bigger accumulation of shares at a specific price, that's going to be a wall, right? This is why you hear walls. This is going to be a wall for level 2. In order to break the wall, we're going to need those sellers, or we're going to need those buyers, and that's exactly what we play. Us retail traders aren't going to be able to break it. Institutions and stuff like that will. So we basically piggyback off of them like a roller coaster. We basically piggyback off of them and, follow what they're doing. If they break the wall, we're in it. If they don't break the wall, then we're not in it. We can play the rejection. So hopefully that helped you with level 2. Hopefully I didn't go off on too much of, scalp trading versus, actually focusing on level 2. But if you guys like that, make sure you guys subscribe. Leave a like, comment down below what other videos you guys want me to do. All these videos are suggested from you guys, so if you guys continue to make suggestions, I'll continue to make these videos. Other than that, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.